All right, what's up, everyone? It's Zach, and today I'm here with a very special guest. I'm joined by Brittany Durant. Brittany, how are you doing today?
Hey Zach, I'm doing pretty well
Hey,
today. How are you?
good. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking, and thanks for taking some time to talk today.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for reaching out.
Yeah, of course. So, Brittany is actually a really cool national finalist on American Warrior, and also is the owner and designer for a company called XZ Streetwear. So that's a little bit about what Brittany's up to. But Brittany, do you mind kind of talking a little bit about who you are, your background, what you're doing these days, all that good stuff?
Yeah, of course. As Zach was mentioning, I am a national finalist on American Ninja Warrior. And it's actually a cool story how I kind of got into it. I was a gymnast and a competitive cheerleader my whole life. Although I got taken out of the sport when I was about 15 years old. Because I had bad back injuries, scoliosis, and
Mm,
so on. And I was told that I would get surgery to um, kind of correct those things if I continued in those sports. So I had to stop for a while, but I eventually found Ninja Warrior a couple years later, and I got the okay from my doctor to kind of jump into it, and it was like my saving grace again. And it kind of made me feel like me. So it's been
yeah,
really cool to see these successes within the sport. My first year, I didn't do as well as I hoped, so I trained really hard to then um, kind of redeem myself for the next season, and looking forward to hoping doing that again.
yeah, that's awesome. That's a really cool story, and it's really, really great that you were able to kind of dive back into not the same sport, but a different sport and just some form of movement, and that you were able to um, just kind of get back into something and find a passion for it.
Yeah, exactly. Passion is definitely what fuels me. And it's actually a big reason why my business partner and I started XE Streetwear is
Okay.
kind of like that passion fueled finding your purpose and like really pushing it and not really seeking for outside approval to do so. Like the only
Yeah.
person that can hold you back is yourself. And if you allow other people to, then um, life just doesn't grow how it can. So that's our big
Right.
message. Just like really find the things that make you feel like you and push
Yeah.
them. Um, so
I
yeah.
love that. Yeah. And now, like, kind of with that message of, XE Streetwear that you just mentioned, is that something that you've always felt like all throughout your life, or like kind of pushing what makes you you and what you enjoy? Is that something that like you've had to learn over time?
I feel like deep down, I kind of always had that fueling me, but I
Okay.
never really like recognized and like put a description to what that feeling was. And when I
Okay.
did, it was like super clear to then look back and be like, oh, these little things I was doing like that, but then also still feeling lost in ways, but
Right.
part of the journey in things. Um, and that's where I feel like all of that growth and discovering happens is in those hard times.
Definitely, yeah, and I mean, I kind of love the message of the company because I think about growing up. There's I would say there's a lot of pressure, honestly, just from whether it's social media or when you're in
Mm-hmm.
school, your schoolmates, whatever, about like dressing a certain way or acting a certain way, or like only this club or this extracurricular is considered cool and stuff. And I think it can be hard to not really seek that validation and just to be fully who you want to be without feeling judged or any pressure.
Yeah, there's definitely those times I went through it too, where
Hmm.
it's like trying to fit the role or like what
Yeah,
someone expects of you, whether it's yourself, your friends, your coaches, your parents, like whatever it is. It's hard to kind of ignore that, especially when you're growing up and you're not like finding, you know, all this experience in the world yet. You're kind of just taking it head on and kind of trying to fit where you can. But um, I mean, I feel like that's also a part of the journey,
Yeah,
discovering, which isn't the most fun because you then tend to compare yourself to others and
right.
it sends in that spiral. But yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think that, you summed it up beautifully. Like that is part of the journey, and no journey is going to be perfect, and honestly probably they shouldn't be perfect. Like you kind of like you said, you have to go through those tough times or those adversities to learn more about yourself, or just who you are, or what fuels you, or motivates you. So I think that it can be a messy journey, but I think sometimes those can be the best, and there can be a lot of beauty in it as well.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Awesome. So with XC Streetwear, like how I guess how did it come together in terms of actually creating the business, right? Like, I mean, it sounds like you've had this kind of great idea and this great message of the company, but then actually putting the company together and, making merchandise and selling it. How's that kind of journey been for you?
Um, it's been really awesome. It's definitely had its ups and downs, but it's kind of a cool start, I would say, because
Yeah.
I mentioned that I have a business partner, and my
Right.
business partner is actually my mom, and she is like the most awesome entrepreneur and super smart, creative. A lot of things that I aspire to be, and I kind of always looked up to her in that way. So she actually had this idea of a store called Expressions. So
Okay.
XZ is kind of like this the symbol for expressions, and it means like what we were talking about, and also like expressing yourself in
Yeah.
whatever way that comes about. And so then she was like, "Oh, you have like really nice art." And like I had gotten an iPad recently, like experiencing with the or experimenting with the digital art. And she's like, "You know what would be
Hmm.
really cool is if we like, because I always liked fashion design and design and her as well, kind of put something together in that realm." And from then it just blossomed, and we sat down by my coffee table with her huge like computer, just like for hours and hours and hours, and just creating this idea from our brains and hearts, and
Yeah.
it's now become what it is now. And yeah, it's been a journey, and we're still going and
Yeah.
hoping for more awesome cool stuff. But
Yeah.
it's cool to kind of have it be someone who I look up to as my partner.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I mean, I know that with any sort of like business endeavor or anything that you try, when you do have a partner, that can be tough and tricky, and you have to like balance that relationship. But having it be someone that you look up to, and family with your mom, I think that that's pretty cool. And I'm sure has probably been a cool opportunity for the two of you to even bond more and just spend more time together.
Yeah, it's been a really cool opportunity. And also a really big learning experience for me because she's been trying to teach me things in ways to where she can then like let me spread my wings and kind of make it my own, but
Yeah.
her kind of be the back end super smart SEO
Right.
partner in there. But yeah, it's
Right.
been cool to see us both grow together in that, and also how it's taught me to take things differently in life.
Yeah. Awesome. Now, when it comes to like the designs that you've done, is there any design specifically that really is close to your heart or really stands out to you? Like, do you have a favorite, or is it really hard to choose, like what your favorite thing you've designed has been?
I mean, there's always the few that kind of hit home more, but
Yeah.
they all do kind of resonate a lot with me. Um, but there's this one that I released when it was starting off as Expressions, and right now
Hmm.
it's limited edition, so we don't have it out, but possibly going to be putting it back out there. But it's called Breakthrough, and what it kind of symbolizes, it's a light bulb that's dripping and it's broken, and then there's this big flower like breaking through out of it. And so um, after my first year of competing on American Ninja Warrior, I was super down on myself because I had trained so hard,
Yeah.
and to go out there and not make it past qualifiers was really tough on me. And it kind of felt like that same feeling I felt when I got taken out of my sport, just kind of lost and angry. And it took me a while to kind of, I would say, break through, but I kind of just looked at things from the outside and really worked on myself to then break through like all these things that I'm just holding myself back with. So I just try to encourage people to push past what they think that their limited potential is, and like break through, and you'll be really surprised at what you see.
I love that. And I hope that you do re-release it, because I definitely need to get something with that kind of just symbol and just that statement. I'd love to get my hands on that. So please do
Yes,
re-release
okay,
it.
noted.
You already have a customer in me.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I love that. And I think that that's such a good message. And anytime we go through those really tough moments, it's tough to kind of get out of it almost, because kind of it sounds like what your experience was like, we're our own biggest critics. So like, even if we work so hard and, put in all the time, the energy, but we come up a little short of like our own expectations, it's like we want to get down on ourselves or think that like, maybe we're not good enough, or, we'll never achieve whatever. So just that message, I think, is so important to anyone listening, to just push through and break through, anything that's limiting you, and just don't be afraid to get back on the horse, I guess, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. You summed it up perfect.
Well, good. I'm glad. So, Brittany, with XC, do you have any, if you can talk about it, do you have like any future goals or plans that you really want to see, like maybe the direction the company go in, or any like cool designs you're messing with that might be something in the future, or anything that you could talk about?
Yeah, so currently I'm working on new designs to put out for the new year. But
Okay.
aside from that, I do want to kind of be more involved with the community in doing giveaways and just kind of connecting people through story and showing that behind the design part to everyone, not just
Yeah.
the clothing, and but also kind of still trying to grow the business as a whole. I would like to hold more inventory and do more special edition stuff, and kind of just take it step by step and see where things blossom and follow what I think my path is on here and my heart, and
Yeah.
maybe even making some cool NFTs to go with some stuff.
Yeah.
But we'll see on that part.
Okay. That's awesome. And yeah, I mean, you have the, experience obviously with like the digital, design and stuff. And of course, NFTs and all things of the sort are taken off these days. So it might be a cool thing to dabble in and look into a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. And now, how long has the company been in existence?
We just passed our first year.
Okay. And then you started with Expressions, and then you kind of rebranded, I guess is a good way to put it.
Yeah,
Okay.
rebranded.
Okay. So that's all been under or a little, or just at the year point.
Yeah, it has
Okay.
been.
Gotcha. That's awesome. And yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, it's still so new, and
Yeah.
there's so much more that you can do with it and grow with it. And I mean, I certainly, like, I'm just from the outside looking in, I'm excited to see kind of what the continued growth looks like.
Thank you. Yeah, I
Of
know it's
course.
been a long year where I'm like, it's so crazy to look at it as it's still like a baby business.
Yeah.
And then like 3 years, I'll be like, oh, it's only 3 years old. But it's like, it's different when you're in that process. You're like, oh my gosh, I need to be doing this and this and this. But
Yeah.
um,
Yeah,
just with
definitely.
that growth mindset.
Right. I love it. And, here talk about kind of some goals and things that you have for the future in mind. even you said like hold more inventory and stuff. I feel like that's the stuff that it's cool to hear, like that almost behind the scenes stuff of it's like, it's cool to go to your website and check out what you have and, connect and all that stuff. But as someone that maybe doesn't have a business or anything like that, like it's cool to kind of hear like, so you have to think about that, or like, this could be a limitation that you have to be able to figure out how to solve that problem or whatever it is. So it is cool to hear like that kind of behind the scenes of the business as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a grueling process on what like deciding what I specifically want to do, whether it's hold inventory
Hmm.
or do more of a print on demand or create special edition things that I hold, and then I have a factory that holds the other stuff,
Yeah.
because of upfront costs and supply and demand. And so it's been a journey to do that, but I would
Yeah.
love to hold my own factory where I can create things, because I feel like me actually putting these things together would make
Hmm.
it more close to me. I know I
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to do everything because one person and help is definitely needed, but
Yeah.
um, yeah. So I guess just throughout this whole next year, I just want to keep um, just creating the depth of the business, and
Sure.
kind of then experiencing and helping other people feel that, because
Yeah.
it's the little things I feel like that count, that I really want to bring into it.
I love that. That sounds like a great plan and great goals, and I have no doubt that you'll be able to achieve all of those and more, whatever you set your mind to.
Thank you.
Of
You too.
course. Thank you. Thank you. So I know you mentioned your business partner, your mom. Is it just the two of you, or like, is there anyone else that helps out, or do you have like employees or anything like that, or is it really just the two of you doing everything at this point?
It's the two of us building everything. My
Okay.
younger brother kind of comes in and does the UI UX, where it's just like a user interface
Hmm.
experience. He's like, "Oh no, a button needs to like be here," but that's just because he likes to help us out.
Okay.
But aside from that, we do have a company that we go through where they are printing our
Right.
shirts,
Okay.
but it's not under like a W-2 or 1099.
Sure.
So technically, it's just her and I on
Okay.
business. But yeah, aside from that,
Gotcha. And now, with it being, at the year point of the company, have you found that like this past year, has it been maybe a little more challenging to kind of get everything going and to be, creating a product with like the way the world's with like, I know like a lot of people talk about like delays or,
yeah,
just things with like logistics. Like, have you experienced any of that, or has it been pretty smooth?
it's been rocky in
Okay.
places that I wouldn't think would be. Um, but yeah, there's like delays and stuff, and kind of
Yeah.
just figuring out what our audience wants, and
Hmm.
when like it's hard to figure that out in general, but it's also hard to kind of, I mean, being a business owner and an entrepreneur, you have to be really self-motivated and
Yeah.
self-inspired, and it's
Yep.
hard to turn my brain to the creative side and then the more marketing side, and it's just
Hmm.
different sides of the brain. And um, my partner has actually been helping me a lot with that, and kind of being like, I like, let me take over things and you do this and I'll do this. So then we're both
Yeah.
really like just loving what we're doing.
Hmm.
So it's been figuring out that push and pull, and then also just me trusting that um, my work is good enough to get put out there, because like I was talking about earlier, own self-critic, and
Yeah.
especially with my drawing, that means so much to me. I like overthink it, but she's been helping me be like, just trust yourself, it's good. And um, yeah, so I've been experimenting with that, and I feel like it's really paid off in this past drop, and kind of a rebrand, but
Yeah.
and I really see myself within it now, and so like I'm really proud of it, and not afraid to put things out there.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I mean, like from what I've seen, I think you're extremely talented with your art. So, definitely keep it up and, you know,
Thank
don't
you.
be afraid to, I don't know if like push the envelopes the right way, but just like,
Hmm.
you know, express yourself in the way that you think is going to resonate with others and like don't be afraid to like take chances with design because like I
Yeah.
said from what I've seen it's awesome and it's definitely something special and unique and just thinking about like fashion like everyday fashion and stuff it's definitely something that it's like I have no doubt I could see like the stuff that you're designing now being on everyone's shirt when you go out or something or when you're
Thank you. That
going to a
means a
big
lot.
town so yeah of course so just I'm excited to see kind of the continued work that you do with that and yeah like I said just it's really cool to see that come alive and just know that like it's not just like something you found on the internet you're like oh this is cool let's put this on a shirt it's like something
Mhm.
it's things that you've put in the time and designed and it comes from like an actual place like inside you not just like
Mhm.
some random like image
Yeah, you're like, this is cool.
right
I mean, which is cool, but
yeah
yes, thank you.
of course and something you kind of mentioned was like just with being a business owner having that motivation and being self-motivated is there anything that really helps you stay motivated and whether that's for your business or just like in general just like with everyday things you have to get done in life or maybe training
Mm.
warrior like is there anything that you specifically have come to do that really helps you stay motivated
Um, yes, actually, recently I've been kind of figuring out some stuff that really has been sticking. So, what I tend to feel the most inspired and motivated with is like when I somewhat have a routine. I wouldn't say that I have a specific morning routine where I wake up at a specific time, which I know is good for you. I'm working on that, but um, finding times where I can just sit and like drink some tea in front of a candle, like if it's like for 5 minutes or like whatever, just kind of something simple that kind of lets me relax and kind of set for my day or whatever I'm doing. Kind of helps me get my creativeness going, and I don't know, it helps me
yeah
personally. Or like if I'm going to train, like I'll kind of have that little prep routine, whether it's whatever sparks your interests, like reading a book for a few minutes.
hmm
Just that like beginning routine that gets me like ready for that, because I've noticed a lot of times when I just rush into whatever I'm supposed to be doing, it's like my day just turns into not what I thought, and it's
okay
kind of unmotivating in that way, to where I feel like all rushed and sporadic, and then I just get super tired. And so, kind of taking times in the day to slow down and enjoy things for what they are, and
yeah
then that like brings my energy up and makes me want to go do stuff, and then I end up doing more than I had planned. So,
Mhm.
but it's definitely hard at times.
It
Also,
is
some good like motivational music or like speeches
okay
on YouTube. Those will get me in the mood. Not
there
feeling
you go I
well.
love it I think it's cool hearing you say just like slowing down and not necessarily rushing into things, like kind of easing into it, whether it's like you said, just, doing something to kind of like help you kind of get prepared for training or, having some tea and just sitting in front of a candle, just kind of relaxing. Like, I think that we live in a world that's very fast paced and like, I
Mhm.
mean, cell phones and technology doesn't help where we have like all this stuff at our fingertips and I know, like, for me, I'm always busy and I'm like, I want to jump from thing to thing to thing. And I'm like, I just need to slow down. I just need to take a
Yeah.
breath, take a deep breath and slow down and like actually enjoy what I'm doing and
Yeah.
not just like rush through it and not just be like, okay, I need to get this done. Like, just kind of to take it slow. And I feel like if you can get to that, like, if you can kind of condition yourself to get in that state, it's like life slows down and it's like a lot more enjoyable and things are just like so much better because you're like, I'm really like I'm ready to do this now. I'm enjoying it. I'm like
Yeah.
fully in the moment and it's good
Exactly.
stuff.
Yeah, easier said than done, but
It is, yeah, it is
definitely
very
pays
much,
off.
yeah. And
Oh,
then, of course, I love that you said, music and motivational speeches too. That's always a great way to get motivated.
yeah, for sure. Just blast in the headphones and then I'll ready to
Yeah.
go train.
Do you have any go-to like music to get you pumped up or motivated? Any songs or artists or anything?
I really like Inky Johnson. He's a big motivator for me.
Okay.
He has
Yeah.
some like that he turned into songs, so it's easy to
Okay.
my playlist. One of them is called Commitment. It's super inspiring and just kind of gets me just my head in the right zone.
Okay. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah,
You said
definitely
commitment.
worth a listen. Yeah, it's called Commitment. I think it's in his bucket of something. I don't know. It's really cool.
Okay. I'll check it out. That's awesome. Very cool. And now, we've kind of touched on the training aspect a little bit and, certainly just talked about like getting pumped up for training. What does the training look like for you? Like, is that something that you're constantly doing, like every day, or do you have like a kind of routine or schedule built around training?
I try to have a schedule. Some of it's more sporadic because I am more of like a listen to your body and
Yeah.
telling what it's like telling you when to rest, when to push harder. So it kind of fluctuates, but it does depend on what time of the season it is. For right now, as the season's coming up, I'm amping up my training more. I coach about 4 days a week, so I'm in there and trying to
Okay.
lift weights and then like before I coach and then train after I coach. That's always the goal. Some
Okay.
days need more rest, but so yeah, and then a few days rest at home is when I found when my body's most optimal. I try to push it sometimes and like
Hmm.
do it every day, but then I just burn out and
Right.
then I don't peak at the right times, and that's been a journey too. But I do really enjoy just movement in general. So
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
another thing that like keeps me motivated and inspired. Just like going for a walk and I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, my blood's flowing now. Now I don't feel as groggy.
I love that. Yeah, and I mean, I'm big into movement myself, and I think that that's like you said, that's a great example of like sometimes I might just feel like, oh, I don't want to do anything today. I'm not really motivated, like whatever. And then it's like if I get up and go for a walk, it's like now I feel like I can go take on the whole day. Like
Yeah,
it's just that
right.
little movement, or even just
Yeah.
like let's do like a 5 minute, you know, home workout of like jumping jacks or jump rope or something, and it's like you just kind of feel that
Exactly.
energy and you're like, wow, okay, I feel better
Yeah.
now.
My mom always told me, your body's like a swamp. If you let it sit, it's gonna get all murky and groggy. But if you move it around a little bit every day, you're gonna be flowing and going.
I really like that. I have never heard anything like that. That's really good.
I know it stuck with me. I'm like, dude, you're so
Yeah,
right.
that's gonna stick with me forever now.
Yes.
I love it.
Oh,
Oh man. So, you kind of mentioned with the training, you said like, um, lifting weights and, I'm sure at this point everyone knows what Ninja Warrior is, but if you don't, it's kind of, um, I don't know. I guess how do you describe Ninja Warrior to someone that doesn't know what it is? Kind of like movement and
like obstacles that you
obstacles
like
and
hang from.
running
Basically,
and
monkeys in real life.
yeah. So
uh,
like, is there I mean, like I love, movement and working out and going to the gym and stuff like that, but is there specific types of workouts or like training routines that as a ninja warrior like you really have to make sure you're focused on or like
I would say a lot of the upper body obstacles, a lot of a lot of forearm strength
okay,
is required because that's where it taxes you the most.
yeah,
But I personally have been experiencing with more of the parkour world, and
yeah,
I feel like that's been like a drastic difference in my performance because it trains a lot of different sides of your brain that you don't really know that you use during ninja when you're competing. Like
okay,
with parkour, I feel a lot more scared when I'm doing stuff because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a different fear factor. And
Yeah.
so when I was going into the obstacles this year, I felt like, oh, I'll just run between this and that, and it's like so much more natural than like, oh, I have to think about this, like these steps that actually lead up to the obstacle, which
Hmm.
like a lot of people I feel like don't really plan for, like the little things in the middle that will
Yeah.
do. So that's been a big part of my training, and I just really enjoy it.
That's
But
good.
yeah,
That makes
definitely
a
the
huge
upper body
difference.
stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. And it's funny that you mentioned kind of like, like the mindset of fear or just being afraid. Cause like I've watched Ninja Warrior casually pretty much all my life. Like I've
Yeah.
always enjoyed it. But like I've always wondered like, do these people just have like no like sense of fear? Or like I
Right.
just imagine myself doing that. I'm like, I know like, you fall into water or you fall on like a mat or like a padded
Mhm.
cushioned mat, but I'm like, I don't know, like jumping from, point
From
A to
there to
point
there to
B,
there.
like I feel like that's kind of scary.
Yeah, no, there's definitely so many times every competition my heart just like go 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 go,
Yeah.
and I'm like, wow, this is looks insane. And then when you get on it, it's like not as bad
Mhm.
as you think, but still, like you got to get over that first like
Right.
go thing. So yeah,
Yeah,
training that really made a difference for me. I feel like this past year.
definitely. I have to know, like, do you have a favorite and a least favorite obstacle?
Oh geez. I really like, it's called like just laches where it's just throwing
Yeah.
yourself in the air. Yeah. Anything that has to do with that, I really like because I don't know. I've just always been. I've liked being like thrown in the air, like with the stunts from cheer or
Yeah.
flipping, and just like being in the middle of the air just feels so freeing. And then my least favorite, I would say maybe like small little cliffhangers. So just like little things that
Yeah.
you're just hanging on by basically your fingernails. I'm like, no, I just can't do
Yeah.
those as well.
That's a good kind of like thing to bring up because like I feel like you all make it look so easy on TV. And then
It
like,
does look easier than it is.
they'll they'll like zoom in on the camera or they'll talk about like the obstacle and it's like, oh yeah, like here's like a ledge that extends out like half an inch and I'm like, how do you even grab onto that?
You're like, what?
Yeah. So that's oh man, it's
Yeah.
crazy and like it's I grew up watching sports and playing sports and like I have huge respect for, you know, people that play professional, I don't know, baseball, football, whatever, but like
Mhm.
there's so much respect for people in the Ninja Warrior community. Like the things that you all do, it just sometimes it's just like mind boggling. I'm like, how does the body like lachey that far? Or like
Right? Like,
how do you
is
have
that
that grip
possible?
strength or like oh it's
I know,
crazy.
it's crazy. It definitely looks a lot easier on the show. Like, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah. And then you get there and you're like, oh, maybe it's harder.
Right.
But
Right.
I mean, it's just like anything, just training your craft and
Yeah,
helps.
definitely. Definitely. So, when it comes to the show itself, like, I guess how does it really work in terms of because everything's pre-recorded, right? Or is it live?
Yes. Yes, it is
Okay.
pre-recorded.
Okay, that's what I thought. So you said it's coming up on the season now.
Yeah, so it's submission season right now, which
Okay.
means you have to create a video and then submit it to the casting agents.
Yep.
And then they go through a process where they figure out who they want, and then they call you or they don't call you. And it either invites you to the season, and then you just go from there and you do a qualifiers. Then you have to pass that to a city finals,
Hmm.
then a national finals with 4 stages.
Okay. And like now when you compete, is there like a lot of like downtime, I guess? Like if it's like, oh, you have to be at this location this day, could you potentially be there all day waiting for like, your run, which might not happen until like 5 hours later?
Yeah, so everyone gets pulled, and it's about a 10-hour, 8 to 10 hour filming
Okay.
day. So everyone comes, and then you don't really know your run order until you're there, and then you go over the obstacles and stuff, and then you
Yeah.
wait until you go. Sometimes you could be the last, sometimes you could be the first. So
Okay.
there's advantages and disadvantages to that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you have like a preference of being like one of the first people to run or being one of like the later people?
I would say not one of the first people because watching people go gives you beta to figure out what to do, what not to do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, sometimes it's nice to get those nerves out of the way.
Hmm.
And if like you're feeling confident, like throughout everything. But I personally like to be in the middle or like middle end.
Yeah.
When I was competing at the very end, um, I actually did better. So that's
Okay.
just with my experience. But I'm also a night person because we film over in the nighttime, like
Oh,
over.
okay.
I mean, it depends where you are. If we're in an inside location, then it's in the daytime. But so I'm a night owl, so I don't really have a problem with staying up and kind of waiting. But I don't know. It's long nights, but it's an experience in
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like a great experience, and it's just so cool to see, and just to kind of hear a little bit of the behind the scenes of like how it actually works to, get on the show and what the runs look like and all that. It's cool to kind of, as just like a fan of the sport, it's cool for me to
Yeah,
hear kind of some of this.
the
Um,
yeah.
yeah, so I'm definitely excited to see the upcoming season of it.
I know, yeah. I'm excited. Hoping to be in it.
Yeah,
Fingers crossed.
fingers crossed for sure. And I mean, I know that you're hungry for more success in
Mm,
the sport and everything, and it'd be great to see you get that chance to just achieve the goals that you have for yourself with it.
yeah, thank you. I know,
Of
yeah.
course.
I made it to national finals, but I
Hmm.
went out not how I wanted to go out.
Right.
So I left that little sour taste in my mouth to put the fire and be like, all right, let's go for next season.
Definitely. So like, that's an interesting thing to bring up. So like from like a mental standpoint, like you said that, the way that you went out wasn't necessarily like how you wanted to, so that kind of motivated you. But like, is there any sense of like fear of if you don't at least get to where you got previously, like,
Yeah,
you
I've been
failed or
feeling,
like you're not good enough or
yeah, like coming off of my first season to my second season, I was like, oh, it's not going to be that hard to kind of exceed myself. But now
right?
that I have gotten to the national finals and with, I mean, everyone lately, I feel like has been just training so hard. So
Yeah.
it's going to be harder to get into it too. But just kind of topping where I was is a goal. And I mean, I would be let down if I didn't, but we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're gonna exceed it.
Definitely. And I mean, as like someone that, again, playing sports and just like in life, like even like board games and cards, I'm kind of competitive at times. So like
Yeah.
I get that competitiveness of like, you always want to exceed your past,
Hmm.
performance or whatever. But, I know that, and I'm sure like deep down, like you said, even if you don't, that doesn't mean that's not a reflection of you, or that doesn't mean you
Yeah.
failed or you didn't train hard enough. I mean, sometimes it's luck, sometimes it's just a bad draw of obstacles that you're like,
Exactly.
I did not want these.
Yeah.
But
It's an
um
off day.
exactly, we're all allowed to have those off days. But I do like that you said you are going to exceed it. I like the mindset of, just let's manifest it right now, let's put it out there. You're going to exceed it, you're going to do great. We're going to
Yes.
talk a year from now and you're going to be, at the top of the mountain.
Yep, right there at the top.
There we go.
Yep.
Awesome, I love it.
Confident mindset.
Yeah, it's so important. And
It really
I think
is.
that it's just like the perspective that we have on things can be so powerful, and just like the
Oh,
mindset that we can have. And um kind of like we talked about earlier, it can be tough when maybe you feel pressure from yourself or others to be a certain way or to have a certain interest or whatever, like,
hmm.
to have that mindset of like positivity or just like be in a good headspace. So definitely, to
Yeah,
anyone listening, like, it's super important. It's not easy, it's not always easy,
not easy.
but and
But
like,
worth it.
yeah, definitely worth it. And like, it's okay to have those down days or like those days where like you maybe don't think like you're doing as well as maybe you are, but like, just to kind of know that you are, doing your best, and we're human. We're allowed to have,
Like,
bad days and stuff. But having that like general mindset on a regular basis, like kind of like you said, it can be very rewarding and beneficial and like almost freeing in a sense.
yeah, couldn't have said it better myself.
Love it. So, with that, just like having that mindset, is there anything that, we've kind of talked about like what motivates you, but is there anything that helps you have that kind of mindset on life or the things that you are up against?
Um, I feel like we were talking about earlier, just like the experience
Yeah.
of, I feel like having the bad mindset and pushing myself into negativity and holding myself back, that's been like the most motivator, because I'm like, I've put myself through this when I didn't have to, so might as
Hmm.
well like do everything in my power to, change that and help myself grow. And like you said, I have days sometimes more often than not where it's you get in those mindsets, but it's when you pull yourself out of that and kind of reclaim like, this is me, I'm not going to like let anything hold me back, especially my own self. So just kind
Yeah.
of really thinking I don't want to go through what I have already, is my biggest motivation to kind of stay in that.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Like we all have so many experiences in life, and sometimes they're not always positive and sometimes they're tough times, and just kind of like knowing like this is what that experience is like. I don't want to go back to that place or be in that mindset or experience that way of life. I kind of want to you know
Mm-hmm.
change it and learn from it and grow from it. I think that that's super important. And I think that like this conversation that we're having, I love it because I think about you know, just your story and who you are as a person, and just, the chance that you have, whether it's through your business or through Ninja Warrior, to like kind of share your own story. I think that it's really powerful and it can inspire a lot of people, whether it's, people around our age, older, or even like younger people, especially like from the Ninja Warrior side. I feel like a lot of younger, kids really like the show and stuff. So like seeing someone like yourself being able to talk about these kind of things and share like positivity and just the messages that we've talked about, I think that's super empowering.
Oh, thank you.
Of course.
Hope that
Yeah,
it can, yeah, empower and inspire, give people hope.
it's so important, especially with just in general, the last few years have been tough for so many different reasons for so many different people. So like I think just having that bright light of hope to hold on to can be so powerful for so many of us.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Definitely. Well, it sounds like you have a lot of exciting things coming up, whether it's, all the future plans that you have, for the business, or just with kind of the Ninja Warrior season starting to, get rolling and everything. It sounds like you're going to be pretty busy.
Yes, gonna be quite busy. Just gotta be thankful for the busyness.
Yeah, there you go. Right. Like, busyness, it kind of comes in seasons, right? Like there's always that kind of busy season.
Mhm.
Um, but it's all good stuff. And it sounds like it's stuff that you're extremely passionate about. So
Yes.
while it is, hard work, for sure, sometimes even when we're doing hard work, when it's for things that we love or that we're really passionate about, it's like, it's not work. It doesn't feel like work all the time.
Mm. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Brittany, it's been an absolute pleasure getting to talk with you and hear a lot about your life and your story and everything. Um, if anything that we talked about really resonated with people, or anyone listening was like, "Oh, that's really cool," or "I want to check out," you know, XZ, what's the best place to get connected? Is it just like the Instagrams for like your personal account and then the company? Or are those the best ways to kind of check out your stuff?
I do have everything linked in my Instagrams, the in the bio. If
Okay.
not, it's www.xzstreetwear.com. But my handle is Brittany Durant _. And you can find everything from there, and I'll be updating everyone on a bunch of stuff.
Okay, perfect. So I will also put your Instagram in the description. So if you're listening to this and you didn't catch that, I'll put the web. I'll put uh, Instagram handle in the description, so you can just click down there, check out everything, and like she said in her bio, you'll be able to find everything. Keep up to date with both XZ and also Brittany's journey in life and on Ninja Warrior. I know I'll be excited to tune in and continue to follow your journey.
Thank
You
you.
mentioned updates. At this time, is there any like updates that you like have that you can share, just or things maybe to look out for or anything?
Definitely. We're going to be doing a giveaway soon before the
Okay.
year ends. So look out for that. And then also new products with a New Year's sale. So
Oh
that's
man. Okay. Like I was gonna say, like I was just gonna go get like a bunch of stuff now, but maybe I have to wait for this special New Year's sale that you mentioned.
hey, I mean, you just might got that
Awesome.
little sale going.
Okay. Okay. So giveaway before the end of the year and New Year's sale coming up. So definitely be on the lookout for those. And again, all of Brittany's, social media stuff is going to be in the bio. So feel free to click down there and keep up to date with all that good stuff. But Brittany, is there any like last words, thoughts, message that you want to put out there to anyone that's listening today?
Well, first, I want to give you a big thank you, Zach, for giving me the opportunity to kind of shed a light on this and
Yeah,
speak with you about it. And you have really good perspectives on everything. So it's been a
thank
really
you.
pleasant conversation. But I would say, just for everyone out there, the only thing that's going to hold you back is you. And you're so much more capable of what you can even fathom. And it's super insane to kind of get that feeling in your head. It's kind of scary almost, and you're like, wait,
Hmm.
what am I going to do with that? But that's where the most amazing stuff comes about, right? Like
Yeah,
things that you wouldn't even think. And I feel like that's what makes life so special, at least to me, is that the unexpected is what changes your life the most. So
it
just
is.
don't be afraid to just go for it.
I love that. Yeah, I think that like we tend to have that kind of fear of the unknown or the uncertainty, or we want to make sure we're making the right decision, or we don't want to fail. But you kind of like you said, there's a beauty to the process, and some of the greatest things that life has to offer happens in like the unexpected moments and at
Yeah.
unexpected times. So I definitely echo exactly what you said and encourage everyone to follow what Brittany just said, and I think that's great advice.
Thank you so much, and I
Of
appreciate
course.
you. And everyone gotta follow Zach Hose's journey too, because he's awesome.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the kind words, and um, Brittany, we'll definitely have to uh, maybe like a year from now, we'll chat again and see what happened the next year with Ninja Warrior and just where XC's at and stuff. I think you're on a great path and you're accomplishing some great things. You're motivating and inspiring many people, myself included, and I'm just super excited to see where this journey is to take you. So it's been an absolute pleasure, and I know we'll definitely have to keep in touch and see what's going on in life. But I'm excited, and I know some great things are coming your way.
Thank you, and same for
Yeah,
you.
thank you. All right, I'll talk to you later.
Talk to you later.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.